There is a ton of stuff to cover in a review, and in the process, lots of it needs to end up on the cutting room floor. Mostly because videos can't be over a certain length, as most people are squirrely and can't sit still. So with that in mind, let's cover off some of the fun things you can do with the Rode Streamer X that I didn't get a chance to cover in my review. And first up, it's a pretty basic feature, but still pretty cool. One of the biggest hurdles to getting into streaming, or at least streaming above potato level, is price. I mean, it feels like a rich kid sport sometimes, especially as you start adding up all the things you need to get going, like mic, boom arm, headphones, interface, camera, and so on and so on. Most people are starting out their gaming career with something like these. Now, I know these are Turtle Beach, but beyond that, I have no idea. All I know is they are super cheap. So how does one bridge the gap between these and the Streamer X? Well, by simply plugging these into the Streamer X, actually. And it's usually counterproductive to tell anyone to buy the interface first, just to get into some decent sounding audio. But for anyone with something like these, that's kind of one of the smarter choices. So when the Streamer X ends up under the Christmas tree, or even wrapped up for a birthday, people can literally just get this thing up and running without having to empty their wallet. It's a nice touch, and a smart move by Rode. As for the wireless option, I think this is a decent nod to anyone that will be using this thing for presentations, which is, by the way, another cool little trick that the Streamer X can handle. When you put it into presentation mode, you can control either PowerPoint or Google Slides. And of course, you can also pair one of Rode's wireless options with the Streamer X as well. I'm curious though, how many gamers are actually going to be using one of these wireless options? Now, it is a nice add-in, though I do wonder how much use that wireless channel is actually going to get on the Streamer X. Now, I think this is the one that really sells the Streamer X. The unit is basically aimed at game streamers who are using the single camera feed as well as the game feed. Now, obviously this can be used with console streaming, though the setup does seem to be slanted towards the PC streamers. And UniFi kind of adds to that assumption. Now, realistically, the addition of UniFi to the Streamer X basically turns your experience into a full streaming setup, complete with the ability to route audio easily and add virtual channels. And it's as simple as plugging in the unit with UniFi open. UniFi just asks you if you want to use the Streamer X with the unit, and voila. Each time you open UniFi, it will prompt you for this so you don't have to worry. And just like using UniFi with USB mic, it basically operates the same, but things like the smart pads won't work on the software, just on the unit. But otherwise, it's full functionality. And probably the coolest thing about the smart pads is you can use them as MIDI controllers with OBS, basically turning the Streamer X into a Stream Deck. I should clarify that this works on all the smart pads across Rode's lineup, but I haven't really highlighted them in a video, so why not? Now's a good time. That said, it isn't as straightforward as you might think, and if you're looking to do this, you're going to need a few things first. And first up, you need to download a plugin for OBS called OBS MIDI MG. I'll have the link for it down below if you're looking to follow along at home. Now is also a good time to remind you that if you are attempting to do this with OBS, you are downloading software off the internet that has not been vetted by Windows. It is perfectly safe if you're getting it from GitHub, but your computer will protest, and sometimes the software can be annoyingly buggy or just flat out not work. Now, that's what happened when I was putting this video together, as the new version of OBS MIDI MG just flat out crashed OBS. I installed an earlier version and it worked well, so that's the one we're going to be working with. Again, the link to that one is down below. Also, this is something you will be consistently updating or tweaking, just an FYI. Now, go click on Go to Download. And from there, you can just download the installer for Windows. There's a Linux and Mac version as well, so just download the one you need. Now, if you're like me and on Windows, Bill Gates doesn't like you to have any fun, so you have to bypass the Windows Defender here. To do that, just click on the More Info button here, then click Run Anyway. Now, I don't recommend doing this any old time you want, as those safeguards are there for a reason, but this came straight from the OBS site, so just be careful with that process, okay? Anyways, finish the download. Once you're done, you will notice a new option when you open up OBS again. Now, once it's downloaded, you want to open up Rode Central and select the sound pad configuration. From there, choose a bank that you want to add triggers to, click on one of the sound pads and the MIDI button, and you will see this screen. Now, the only thing we're changing here is to momentary, if that isn't selected already. Otherwise, just leave it alone. And you can do this with as many smart pads as you like. Today for us, we're just going to do 2. Now from there, go to the tools in the drop-down menu of OBS and click on the OBS MIDI MG, and you will see this screen pop up. Now, first thing you want to do is choose the device you're using. For us, it's the Streamer X. That said, a lot of the time the actual device will not be listed as named. Instead, you will just see something like this, MIDI Function 1. For us, that's the Streamer X. Next, we're clicking on the Create a Binding button, which shows us as Untitled Binding 1. Now double click it. You can rename it if you like. Also, this is where you tell it what to do on the right side here. So to assign it to a key on your Streamer X, just tell it to listen once, then tap the corresponding smart pad on your Streamer X. Then down below that, you're going to choose what the action you want it to do. I just want a scene switcher, so that's what I'm going to choose in the scene I want to switch it to. And basically repeat these actions to add as many triggers as you like. For me, now I get to switch between my scenes effortlessly. Now, Rode is also well known for adapting their devices to do more stuff, so stay tuned here as I'm going to try to jump on those new changes as they happen. Cheers, and thanks for watching.